Almost a year has passed since they successfully carried out Kharkiv operation to liberate Ukrainian territories. It was then when the armed forces of Ukraine also liberated part of the Donetsk region. This is the Liman direction, and we are located near the village of Yampil, which was under Russian occupation for several months. Despite the fact that this territory is under the Ukrainian flag, it is not easy here. There are active combat operations 5 kilometers away. The village is subject to constant shelling by the Russian Federation. Communications that were completely destroyed by the Russian occupiers are still being restored in dozens of settlements liberated by the Ukrainian Armed Forces last autumn. Mobile communications are returning to cities and villages, but everything is not so simple in Yampil. Although the Russian invaders fled from these territories, they do not stop shelling them to this day.
3 days ago, the missile flew there. I had equipped a basement there and the missile teared down the doors. It's hard.
Gennady lived in the village throughout the Russian occupation. He was captured by Kadyrov's men. He says he managed to escape and survive, but his neighbor could not. He was shot.
The Luhansk People's Republic's troops came in here for a couple of days and took us captured for nothing. They said, "You are coordinators." I say, "I don't even have a phone." And they took us and threw us into the basement. And then the shelling began, and one of them was wounded. They pulled us out, and I said, "Kolya, let's run." And we ran away. But I ran further, and he stayed. I said, "They will come, and we will be like cattle to them."
4 months of occupation for the locals is like a year, but the loss of housing after the Russian attacks cannot be compared with the loss of loved ones. A year ago, Leonid's son was blown up on a tripwire. The guy was only 20 years old.
I had a son. He was a late boy. Well.
Did he get caught on a tripwire?
Yes, the guy was 20 years old. Pardon me. I'm telling you, my daughters had left, but he had stayed with us. That's it. We can't have him back.
Many locals did not notice the arrival of the Ukrainian army because they had been sitting in the basements all the time. 74-year-old Valentina recalls how the Ukrainian defenders knocked on her door.
The shooting was loud. We were sitting in the basement. I was sitting in the morning and it was already cold. They were knocking, but I can't hear well. I went out, saw something blue and said, "It's ours." They asked who was there. I said, "Only me."
Locals are already accustomed to living to the sound of artillery cannonades. They rarely go down to the basements. Vasil is a native of temporarily occupied Makiyivka. He says he planned to meet his old age here in Yampil. Missiles have already hit the pensioner's house twice. Aren't you tired of the war?
No. Why would I be afraid of it? Well, it's loud, okay, so what? In short, everything in God's will. When it was to happen, hide or don't hide, you will get hit.
Today, about 300 people live in Yampil. This is only a tenth of the village's inhabitants before the start of the Russian full-scale war. But no matter how hard it is for the locals, they say that it was much worse when the Russians were here than now. Nowadays, there is a lot of talk that the Russians want to return here and are putting pressure on this front.
God forbid.
Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Alona Gramova, Yevgen Karmazin, Alexander Kolyshev, UATV News.